Welcome to my workshop. This is my lab. This is where I research and develop for new ideas for jewelry and silverware. At the moment I'm working with red blood cells, also called erythrocytes, which I find quite fascinating from their form and shape. I find it quite obvious to interpret it into jewelry and silverware. The first object where I used erythrocytes as a design element was naturally in a chalice made for a church, symbolizing the blood of Christ. I made it for the church called Østerhåb, near the Danish town Horsens. In connection with that assignment, I also made a pendant consisting of red blood cells. And now I'll show you how I made these elements. The stuff I use for making the model of the red blood cell is wax, carving wax, which is used for casting silver and gold objects. First I draw the thickness of the cell, which I find suitable, and then I carve and cut in the wax. It's actually quite fast to work in this wax, that's why we're using that, because it's much faster than working directly in the silver or in gold. So I cut and carve like 5-6 elements, and then I'll put them together and make the initial or the first sand casted model of these cells. I use a special kind of saw with a quite rough saw blade to cut in this wax. With a normal saw blade it's much slower to cut in such. So, and after that I'll form the underneath of the cell here. And the cell is like, it has a depth in the front surface and rounded on the underneath. So that's what I'm doing with this carving knife. Now I'm using this cutter here to form the shape of the underneath of the cell, the bottom of the cell. And when the rough shape is gained on this cell, I'll smooth it with the carving knife. I make the shapes of the different cells. They differ a bit. So some cells are more round, some are more oval, some are more flat, some are more rounded. So with this smoothie I can make the surface smooth too. So there it is, and then I can turn it around and the underside. And of course I cheat a little bit, so I've already made several cells here, and I will try to put them together and warm up this knife, and then I'll melt them together. And when I cast the initial 5-6 cells, I have 6 at one time. And with these cells I can when I have casted them in silver, I can saw them apart and I can solder them together in whatever way I want them, so they look the way that I want them to. So this is the final pendant, and in a moment you will see how I cast this. And there it is. Having casted the elements, now cut them apart and milled the surface on them, I will weld them together in order to fixate them before soldering them together and making finish. So now the elements are fixated together and I can solder them. Now the soldered parts are quenched in water first. Then it's added in the acid part here to clean the object. I'll make the finish and I'll add more elements. And then in the end we have the finished pendant.